Good afternoon, students. So, in last class, we have discussed about the introduction of the fifth unit, and now we will see the next part. So, we have discussed about data compounding. Now, we will see what is a prefix coding. So, the name says prefix, so which is before the actual code. So, whatever the sequence may be made up of a initial part of the code is called as the prefix of that code. And we can say a prefix code is defined as a code in which no code word is the prefix of any other code word. For example, so if we see here, we are having a source symbols S0, S1, S2, and S3, and their probabilities are in the range of 0.5, 0.25, 0.125, and 0.125. So here we're having a three codes, code 1, code 2, and code 3. So this codes 1, code 2, code 3 will represent like, so first code 1 is not a prefix code. So why? Because this is the bit 0, the code word for S0 is a prefix of 00S2. Again, the bit 1, the code word for S1 is the prefix of 11, which is S3. And similarly, code 3, it is also not a prefix code. And code 2, it is a prefix code. Why? Because for the given condition that no code is the prefix of any other. And now we will see Huffman coding. So it is one of the most important classified prefix code. And the basic idea behind this Huffman coding is to assign an alphabet of sequence of bits roughly to equal to the amount of information which is conveying to the it. And at the end of the result, a source code whose average code word length approaches the fundamental limit will be set by the entropy of the memory-less source name, namely entropy. So what happens here in this Huffman coding is, for a given set of symbols with the different probabilities, there will be a reduction process applied here to generate the code. So by reducing the probabilities, we will generate a code, and that reduction process is continued in a step-by-step manner until we are left with the final set of two source symbol, and they are assigned with a 0 and 1. And from this trial last stage, we then go back to the original symbol to find its code word. So I will explain this Huffman coding now, then it will be easy to understand this theory. And the Huffman coding encoding process. The source symbols are listed in order of a decreasing probability. So the two source symbols of lowest probability are assigned 0 and 1. This is a splitting phase. So first observe these points. Next, I will explain this one clearly. Then you can easily understand what is a Huffman coding process. So first step is, we will list out the probabilities in a decreasing order, and then we will do the assign the values of 0 and 1, and this is called as a splitting phase. And these two source symbol are regarded as a being combined to form a new source symbol with a probability equal to the sum of two original probabilities. Thus it in effect reduces that number of source symbols by one by one, and the probability value of the new symbol is placed in the list according to its value, and this process continued until we are left with a final list of source symbols of only two for which we assign 0 and 1. So it is theory. Now we will see the practically here. So it is a Huffman coding process. So if you observe the symbols here, we are having a S0, S1, S2, S3, and S4. So in the first step, what we are doing is, we are writing the probabilities in a decreasing order. So first I am writing 0.4, next 0.2, next 0.2, next 0.1, and 0.1. And the next step is, I have to assign the values of 0 and 1 to the lower probabilities values. So just observe the stage 1 only. So first we have writing the probabilities in the decreasing order. Then I'm assigning the values 0 and 1 to the lower probability values. So here the lower probability values are 0.1 and 0.1. So I'm assigning 0.1 0 and 0.1 as 1. And next step, I'm adding the lower probabilities. So if I add 0.1 and 0.1, which means if I add S3 and S4, I will get 0.2, right? So I'm writing that 0.2 here in the stage 2, and I'm writing 0.4 as it is. So 0.2 is less than 0.4. So that's why I'm writing like this in the decreasing order. And then again from the stage 1, 0.2, 0.2, I'm writing as it is. So that is the second stage. I repeat again. So in second stage, I'm writing the first stage 0.4 as it is, and then I'm adding the stage 1 lower probabilities, and the sum is 0.2, which is lower than the 0.4. So I'm writing here in the stage 2 second place, and then from the stage 1 0.2 and 0.2, I'm as it is placing there in the step stage 2. And again same process, assign the values to the lower probabilities. So what are the lower probabilities in the stage 2, 0.2 and 0.2? So I'm assigning the value 0 and 1 to the lower probabilities. So that is stage 2. And next in the stage 3, so add the lower probabilities in the stage 2. So what are the lower probabilities in the stage 2? 0.2 and 0.2. So by adding that 2, we will get 0.4. I am writing that 0.4 in stage 3, and from stage 2 I am getting 0.4 and 0.2. And next is same, assign the 0 and 1 to the lower probabilities. So here 0.4 and 0.2 are the lower probabilities. So I am assigning 0 and 1 to the lower probabilities. Again we have to add the lower probabilities. So by adding 0.4 and 0.2 in stage 3, we will get 0.6. So 0.6 is greater than the 0.4. So I'm writing the 0.6 in the first place in stage 4, and from stage 3 I'm writing the 0.4 in second place. So why I'm writing like this, bis? Why? Because 0.6 is greater value than the 0.4. That's why I'm writing like this. If 0 point in place of a 0.6, if we have a 0.3, then we have to write that 0.3 in the second place, and we have to write the 0.4 from the stage 3 in the first place. The main point is we have to write in the decreasing order, and we have to assign the 0 and 1 values to the lower probabilities, and then we have add to the that lower two probabilities. So and the say this process will be repeated until we will get the two values. So this is the Huffman coding process. So next, the average code word length is, so to get the average code word length, we will write like this: length is equal to 0.4 into 2 plus 0.2 into 2 plus 0.2 into 2 plus 0.1 into 3 plus 0.1 into 3. So how the length is coming means, from this Huffman coding process, we will get the length. So we just add the whole value, and then we will get as a 2.2. And coming to the entropy, so the entropy will be written as 0.4 log to 1 by 0.4 plus 0.2 log to 1 by 0.2 plus 0.2 log to 1 by 0.2 plus 0.1 log to 1 by 0.1 plus 0.1 log to 1 by 0.1. So by calculating all these values, we will get 2.12193 value as a entropy. So here we have to remember, we should not calculate the value as a 0.4 log. We have to calculate it by using the base 2 also, 0.4 log base 2 1 by 0.4. And the last one is efficiency. So efficiency can be calculated, eta is equal to entropy by length. So here what is the entropy value? 2.12193 divided by length value is 2.2. So by calculating this, we will get 0.9678. So it is the calculation of a Huffman coding. So we'll see the what are the limitations of a Huffman coding. So at each splitting level, there is a arbitrance in the way a 1 or a 0 is assigned to the last two source symbols. And next one is ambiguity arises when the probability of a combined source is found to be equal of another probability in the list, and we may place that new symbol as a high as possible alternatively, and it could be low as possible, as low as possible. Now we will see the memoryless channel. So here we are representing it as a P of y by x is equal to in the matrix form as P of y1 by x1, P of y2, P of y1 by x2, and so on, P of y1 by xm. And in next one, P of y2 by x1, P of y2 by x2, and so on, P of y2 by xm. And so on, P of yn by x1 and P of yn by x2, and so on, P of y n by xm. Similarly, we are representing P of x comma y in the matrix form. So here the marginal entropy of a source or input x can be given as h of x is equal to minus summation j is equal to 1 to m p of xj log of a p of xj, and also the marginal entropy of a destination or output y is given by h of y is equal to minus summation k is equal to 1 to n p of yk log of p of yk. And third one is the joint entropy of a input x and output y can be given as h of x comma y is equal to minus summation j is equal to 1 to m and summation k is equal to 1 to n p of xj comma yk into log of p of xj comma yk. So here we will represent h of x by y as h of x by yk bar, and which is equal to summation k is equal to 1 to n p of yk into h of x by yk is equal to summation k is equal to 1 to n p of yk into minus of 1 and summation j is equal to 1 to m p of xj by yk log of p of xj by yk. And then the next step we have written as minus summation j is equal to 1 to m and summation k is equal to 1 to n p of yk into p of xj by yk into log of p of xi by xj by yk. And in the next step we can write it as minus summation j is equal to 1 to m and summation k is equal to 1 to n p of xj comma yk log of p of xj by yk. And in the next step we will written as h of y by x can be written as is h of y by x is equal to minus of summation j is equal to 1 to m and summation k is equal to 1 to n p of xj comma yk log of p of yk by xj. And we can write h of x comma y as h of x by y plus h of y, and similarly h of x comma y is equal to h of y by x plus h of x. And now we will see the mutual information. So mutual information can be written as I of xj yk is equal to initial uncertainty minus final uncertainty. So here the initial uncertainty means minus log of p of xj minus log p of xj by yk. So it can be written as log of p of xj by yk by p of xj, and which can be written as summation j is equal to 1 to m summation k is equal to 1 to n p of xj comma yk I of xj yk. And I of x y can be written as h of x minus h of x by y, and also we can represent it as h of y x is equal to h of y minus h of y by x. And in matrix form we will written as p of y by x is equal to x1 x2 and y1 y2, which is p1 minus p and 1 minus p p. And p of x comma y can be written in matrix form as p into alpha 1 minus p into alpha and 1 minus p into 1 minus alpha and p into 1 minus alpha. So if we calculate p of y and h of x, we will get the values like this. And h of y by x can be written as minus of summation j is equal to 1 to m summation k is equal to 1 to n p of xj comma yk log of p of yk by xj, and it can be written as minus of p log p plus 1 minus p log of 1 minus p. And ixy can be written as h of y minus h of y by x, which is equal to h of y plus, so in place of h of y by x I am writing the above value minus into minus plus, so plus of p log p plus 1 minus p log of 1 minus p. And now we will see the what are the properties of a mutual information. So the properties will be like this: I of x y is equal to summation x belongs to capital X and y belongs to capital Y. Then p of x comma y can be written as log of p of x comma y by p of x p of y. And also I of xy is equal to I of yx, and I of xy is less than or equal to minimum of h of x and h of y, and I of x comma y is equal to h of x minus h of x by y. And next, channel capacity. So the channel capacity will be defined as it is the maximum mutual information. So simply we can say the maximum mutual information is referred as a channel capacity, and we will denote it with this C, and C is equal to maximum of I of x comma y. I of x comma y means nothing but a mutual information. So the maximum of mutual information is referred as a channel capacity. So that's it for the today's class. So in next class we will see from here onwards channel coding theorem. Thanks for watching.